I'm sure most of you have heard of Jack Kevorkian, commonly known as Dr. Death, and there is no doubt some of you may even agree with his stance on assisted suicides. There may even be a few of you who would consider his methods if you were to become terminally ill. But hopefully by the end of my speech, you will all agree that voluntary euthanasia is wrong, considering he was sentenced to 10 to 25 years in prison, serving 8 before being released on parole, with the condition he never offers suicide advice to any other person. Hello, I'm Rich Dye, and today I would like to share my view on voluntary euthanasia. First, we will cover the definition. Next, we will talk about how religious beliefs reject euthanasia. And finally, I will tell you why I believe pro-euthanasia advocates are wrong. To begin, let us talk about the definition of euthanasia. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the definition of euthanasia is the act or practice of killing or permitting the death of hopelessly sick or injured persons in a relatively painless way for reasons of mercy, also called mercy killing. Euthanasia is a highly debated practice, particularly when it involves euthanizing human beings. The thought of putting an animal down by the way of euthanizing seems like the only humane thing to do when these animals are suffering. Euthanizing human beings, however, brings debate over the value of life, moral obligation, and of course religious views. To end the life of an animal who has no soul is acceptable, but to end a human life willingly is not morally acceptable to many Christians, including myself. This brings me to my second point, religious beliefs of euthanasia. The impact personal religious beliefs play in the voluntary act of ending one's life is vital in the rejection of accepting this as a moral obligation or humane act. The Christian Medical and Dental Association wrote in a CMDA.org article titled Euthanasia Ethics Statement the following statement that supports my stance on euthanizing humans. We as Christian physicians and dentists believe that human life is a gift from God and is sacred because it bears His image. The role of the physician is to affirm life, relieve suffering, and give compassionate, competent care as long as the patient lives. The physician, as well as the patient, will be held accountable by God, the giver and taker of life. We oppose active intervention with the intent to produce death for the relief of suffering, economic considerations, or convenience of patient, family, or society. We do not oppose withdrawal or failure to institute artificial means of life support in patients who are clearly and irreversibly deteriorating and whom death appears imminent beyond reasonable hope of recovery. The physician's decisions regarding the life and death of a human being should be made with careful consideration of the wishes and beliefs of the patient and his or her advocates, including the family, the church, and the community. The Christian physician, above all, should be obedient to the biblical teaching and sensitive to the counsel of the Christian community. We recognize the right and responsibility of all physicians to refuse to participate in modes of care that violate their moral beliefs or conscience. While rejecting euthanasia, we encourage the development and use of alternatives to relieve suffering, provide human companionship, and give opportunity for spiritual support and counseling. For the religious community, euthanizing a human and choosing to end a life, no matter how tortured, is just unacceptable. We are just vessels in this world to spread the word of God and to live our lives the way God intended. And that does not include killing oneself or having someone take your life, even if viewed as an act of humanity. Some people feel that euthanizing a human being is not only acceptable, but a moral obligation to help put these people out of their misery they endure. This brings me to my final point on how I disagree with pro-euthanasia advocates. According to Derek Humphrey, president of the Euthanization Research and Guidance Organization, or ERGO, he believes citizens should have the right to choose whether to live or die depending on their wishes. He states, in a spirit of compassion for all, this manifesto proclaims that every competent adult has the incontestable right to humankind's ultimate civil and personal liberty, the right to die in a manner and at a time of their own choosing. The feelings of pro-euthanize proponents are respectable in the fact that they only seem to want to keep people from enduring agonizing pain. They seem to feel human beings should have the choice to die with dignity and serenity. As understandable as this outlook may seem, I cannot agree with this perspective. The choice to end a life is a choice that is not ours to make. I hope you all agree with my stance on voluntary euthanasia, and now have a better understanding of the definition, religious beliefs, and how I feel pro-euthanasia advocates are wrong. I would never want to see anyone I love suffer or endure unimaginable agony, but with that being said, I could never condone the choice to intervene and end a life. We must all make tough choices, but deciding when or how we should die is not our choice to make. God gave us the miracle of life, and I believe only God Himself has the right to end that life. Thank you for listening.